Some breaking news on this protesting outside Winston Peters story, which we'll get to in a moment. This is from yesterday, I believe. Oh, no, this is earlier than that.
Still up. Oh, no, this is a different thing. Yep. Okay.
Protesting outside a politician's home at night is not a protest. It's just a disgraceful and blatant harassment. Politicians all have families and children, just like every other Kiwi home, and our families don't deserve to be harassed and intimidated for any reason. New Zealanders' homes are supposed to be a place where we can all be and feel safe and secure. No one has the right to take that away. We have one of the most open, accessible, and tolerant democracies in the world, and people have every right to protest and express their views, but with that comes the responsibility to be a decent person. That's funny. You met the people you work with, and respect the places and times when you can exercise those rights. Get your megaphones inside and protest outside Parliament. If you think it's okay to harass families outside their own homes, you have just lost the moral high ground, your moral high ground. Now, to be honest, you know what I always do, Chewie? I always go, if this was a protest outside Chloe's house, we'd probably be going, yeah, we probably shouldn't be there. However, I have decided of recent times that one can have their cake and eat it too. If you're protesting on the right side of history, it doesn't have to be quite a parallel. And obviously the argument's going to be, Winston Peters, you just contributed to a continued genocide by turning your backs on Gaza, and you're worried about shouty people outside your house. I get that. I don't know if you have seen this, Chewie, but tonight vandals smashed the windows at Winston Peters' house, which I think we can all unreservedly reject and go, no. Because think now again, if that was any of the MPs you support and want to be a part of, so that's a no. That's a no. We're going to go into more about this because it involves Bomber and Winston again, but that's the initial story, protesting outside people's houses.
If I had Winston here, I think I'd say something about that.
What would you say? We'll send him it. He watches.
Absolutely. Someone shouldn't have smashed in his window. That's bad. It's against the law, like very, very clearly. Now, just follow me here. Just extrapolate this out a little bit. Instead of a rock going through a single window of your house is hit with a 2,000-pound bomb. And luckily you survived that. So you leave that area because you have to. And you go and find another place to shelter. And then that is hit by a Hellfire missile. And you have to move again. And then you find somewhere else. And then that is drone struck. Right? And then you move again. Maybe you're in a tent with other people that have had to move. And then that place where you've pitched your tent is hit with a 1,000-pound bomb. And then that continues for 3 years. And then on the other side of the planet, there's someone that goes, don't know if it's our place to be involved. We're small and very far away, and this seems to be something that we're not sure is a priority. And I think New Zealanders will be proud of the stance that we've had, that someone's house being attacked is just not in our purview. We can't tell if this is right or wrong, so we're just going to stay out of it. Does that analogy work?
Yeah,
not sure.
And you obviously you missed
heavy-handed.
You missed the conversation last week, but the whole if not now, then when? Come on. Prime Minister spent a whole month saying it's not a matter of if, but when. Well, why isn't that when now? And the answer is there is no answer.
So very much like October 7th,
yeah,
I do not condone whoever threw this through his window. But you know what? I understand why it happened.
Yeah, and like you say, it's a crime. I mean, it's a crime. Shouldn't be happening. Crime shouldn't be happening. But then again, as you're saying, crimes on the other side of the world shouldn't be happening, and we should be doing. We're going to get to this in a minute with Chloe's speech. The government is actually duty-bound by law to do everything it can to protect New Zealanders who are currently in Israel and also prevent a genocide, and they're not. So Bomber got involved in this conversation. This is obviously before that smashed window is tonight's news. Bomber got involved in this conversation and he said, "Oh, no, you don't, Winston. You sided with genocide, so protests outside your house are totally legitimate. You sad old Zionist coward." What I like about Bomber is sometimes he's subtle and you're not entirely sure what he really means. Like, I mean, what could you read into that? Part of the message says this, part of the post, I should say. There needs to be weekly protests outside Winston House, not less. When it comes to genocide, the front line is everywhere. If you're serving a National Act or New Zealand First MP food, make sure you spit in that food, because when it comes to genocide, the front line is everywhere. See a National Act or New Zealand First MP out in the wild, make sure you yell out Zionist, coward, or war criminal, because when it comes to genocide, the front line is everywhere. This government decided to side with war criminals. It is our duty as citizens to ensure that they are aware of our contempt. More protests outside Winston's house, especially now because we know he hates it. When it comes to genocide, the front line is everywhere. Winston put New Zealand last and Israel first. So, no area for sort of wondering what Bomber had to say. So old mate Winston notice he said several things, like keep protesting. He said several things like call them Zionist cowards. Winston didn't have a problem with any of that stuff, well, at least according to his message.
He's really zeroed in on one point, hasn't he?
Martyn Bradbury just called for people to spit in politicians' food in his latest offensive, profanity-ridden rant of a blog. Isn't that, don't you mean to say free speech? Isn't that what, in his use of free, isn't that what you're supposed to say, free speech? And then he lists the spit in the food. This is how disgustingly low in the gutter the extremists on the left have become. Just close your eyes and think about someone talking like this, who says this is extremely low, the extremists, the far left radicals. He has proven just how violent and divisive the far left truly are. Bradbury knows this is not only a morally reprehensible thing for anyone to do, he just doesn't care. Remind me about this line, because I want to come back to the he knows. Bomber knows. We've seen the rise of the political violence around the world. So now he's trying to use the Charlie Kirk shooting to parallel it to someone spitting in food, it would seem. The political violence around the world and this type of horrendous encouragement of people to act against politicians in this way is dangerous. It's only a small step from justifying spitting in someone's food to justifying something more violent. Bradbury might want to justify his ill-informed gutter rants, but most Kiwis would call it deplorable encouragement of a crime. Deplorable encouragement of a crime. It's not only about having different views or opinions from these extreme lefty losers anymore. It's about acting out violent, hateful actions against anyone they disagree with. We don't want this type of extremism in our country, but it seems people like Bradbury are simply hoping for it. P.S. If anyone wonders, it's any wonder no one read Bomber Bradbury's crap. There's nothing but an arrogant, overweight, ill-informed, hopeless, bearded bludger wannabe. I think that should be a t-shirt. That'd be quite a good t-shirt, actually. Ignorant, overweight, ill-informed, hopeless, bearded bludger wannabe. That'd be quite good down the centre of a t-shirt, don't you think? But he didn't finish there. Let me go on to the next one. He goes again. Bomber Bradbury. It's not even good. The one thing you got to say about, actually probably not now, but circa kind of 2018 Donald Trump was pretty good at the nicknames. Not so much now, but back then he seemed to kind of get it about right. Bomber Bradbury has been called out for his radically unhinged abuse, inciting violent Marxist rants, and he doesn't like it. Bomber is free to make himself sound like an unhinged left-wing loser, but no ordinary Kiwi would think what he said was anywhere near okay. Bomber, you can't hide behind "I was only joking" when you know very well how radicalized the far left are and how you are inciting and encouraging it to happen. We don't care that you disagree with us. In fact, we take that as encouragement that the right choices have been made. But Bomber, your increasingly vile and vicious rants have proven just how far extremist you have become. Bomber, you and your phone boxed sized echo chamber are considered as a bunch of loopy lefty losers, even by the majority of the old school traditional left. Keep going. You're just proving us, the rest of us, right. Maybe we could talk about our numbers now. Nah, maybe not quite yet. Bomber responded. I'll just do this last bit. I'm not going to read the whole thing from Bomber, but Bomber did oppose. My response to Winston's unhinged rant at me, the issue in his decision to side with war criminals. I mean, no matter what you're kind of saying, that's hard to come back from. That's a hard line to come back from. Just a portion of this. He goes out and he lists it and says things. But here, this is the paragraph I'm going to read. What an easily triggered little snowflake. The issue is the ongoing genocide in Gaza and Winston's shameful decision to side with war criminals. Getting his knickers in a twist about a facetious line I make is beneath the mana of what is happening. Your crocodile tears are pathetic, Winston. And I'll say again, this is the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the until very recently number 2 politician in the country as the Deputy Prime Minister, playing
the elder statesman of New
Twitter
Zealand
wars,
politics.
Mean Girl Twitter wars with a left-wing blogger. And this is my story, Chewie.
Yeah. No, I saw that pop up last night and I was like, I don't often do this, but I screenshotted them because I was like, this is so out the gate.
Oh, Winston will take it down, you reckon? Oh.
I was just like, Winston's going to pass out in a smoking chair or whatever, and his intern's going to sneak in, grab his phone out of his limp hand and fucking delete them because it's just so turbocharged.
Yep.
Like,
no, still there. I just refreshed them again.
The homophobic insult, the homophobic schoolyard nickname insults. And I was just like, exactly. What other figure posts like this? Trump. He's happy for that. He thinks that this shit works.
Yeah.
We know that Winston, at his best, had a pretty good turn of phrase. This is not it.
Yeah. Yes.
This is pissed off indignation. And all Bomber needs to sit here and goes, all of this pales in comparison to the wholesale slaughter that we've all been watching for 3 years that you apparently can't recognize.
Yeah. And we had Debbie Nato-Apaka last week, maybe on Wednesday. And I asked her the question, basically, I did it in a very gentle way, but is Winston Peters past it? Is his senility caught up to him? And she was careful, even though she wasn't, and she was saying, he's done a lot. He's got this position of mana. He's kind of, it's been so long, yada, yada, yada. But yeah. And she pointed out that he doesn't do any long speeches anymore. If anyone's going to do a long speech, it's Shane Jones. Winston won't do them. And I've said this before, and this was now 3 years ago, 2023, 2 years ago when my dad passed away. My dad was 83. And there's just this slight difference when you're not quite clicking like you once were. And when I hear Winston speaking sometimes, not that stuff, that's horrifically horrible, but just the way he speaks, and he doesn't quite understand where the line is between having a laugh at something and not. Yeah. I mean, and that's actually not supposed to be disparaging. All of us at 80 are going to be like that. But, maybe that means it's time to move aside and let someone else come, and therefore your party will disappear forever because, Winston first. Chewie.
I mean, I don't often look at Winston's social media because Jesus Christ. But I definitely, once I saw that, I had a look at it. And it's all Marxist this, radical leftist this, loopy lefties. It's all of these crutches. And I mean, you mentioned, he doesn't do long speeches anymore. Like, a few months back when he came down to reopen the Hillside Works, I knew someone that was in there, and that was commented on, is that he did do a reasonably long speech, and the comparison between his one and Shane Jones's was night and day. It was this rambling, incoherent, slurred attack on the previous government that he was fucking part of. And then Shane Jones come on, and this is a direct quote. I don't agree with Shane Jones. I don't like his politics, but the speech that he did was good. Like, he was talking about the benefits to the South Island of the Hillside Works, all of that sort of stuff. It was on message and it was good, but that was contrasted with Winston Peters just airing a list of grievances. Look, he was in Port Chalmers on Friday. I went out with Palestine Solidarity Network folks doing a protest there. Look, 300-400 people turned up for that.
So you're one of the bludgers. He called you guys bludgers on the news.
Oh, did he now?
Yeah.
Oh, it was my day off, Winston. But yeah, like what I found is like the people there knew what they were there for, knew very much on message, and then there were 4 counter protesters. 2 of them were very much, yay Winston was all that they had. They're just walking backwards and forwards in front of people going, yay Winston, knowing that it would provoke a reaction. And it's just like, I said to one of them, I was like, dude, this isn't Facebook. Like, I'm not going to get in a long argument with you. I'm just going to point my megaphone at you and go, like, he was going, go Winston, go. And I was like, that's what we want him to do as well. Go away, Winston. And he got real angry about it. He wanted to fight me. So if he's talking about echo chambers, apparently Bomber's got a, what is it, phone box, shoebox
Phone box.
size.
Do you want to do our numbers? We'll do them now. We'll tell people.
Yeah, I just want to say, if Winston wants to talk about his numbers, I'd be curious to see what his authentic numbers are. The ones that aren't botted accounts and stuff like that on Facebook that he's just sitting there, everybody seems to agree with me. We're doing the right thing.
So I'm preparing an entry award for the awards, and I wasn't aware of this until I did it, but I've done it. I'm going to share with you very quickly because we've got one more story to do, but because it's come up, Winston talking about a phone box size echo chamber. I mean, obviously us and Bomber will have a large Venn diagram over whatever it's called, overlap. And I'll be honest with you, of these numbers, I had to estimate some of Facebook because Facebook would only let me go back to the start of this year. So therefore I've taken an average of months and added that on for the ones that weren't, to make it 12 months. But that's the only one that I had to have an estimate for. So in the last, in the 12 months from August to August, because that's what the podcast awards are for, before 31st of August. For the 12 months from that, YouTube views were 4.1 million.
Sorry,
4.1 million.
A million with an M.
4.1 million, yeah. Views, yep.
Damn.
Did I say YouTube or Facebook? What did I say then?
I heard YouTube.
Okay, because I was looking. Okay, so that was YouTube, 4.1 million. Facebook, 4.4 million views. TikTok, 1.3 million views. Twitter views, 850-ish thousand. Downloads of audio and podcasts, that's like Apple Podcasts, nearly 200,000. So altogether, BHN views for that 12-month period, 10.9 million views. That's 911,000 a month. That's 210,000 a week. That's generating across all platforms. So that means including the clips and all that kind of. So people seeing a show, one like portion or entirety of one show is 42,000 views per episode. It's echo chamber. We'll share those with you properly when I finish the document, but that's what we're at. So if you are a patron, you're getting a good return, whānau, because then there's also the Gary Painda work, and it's also the Craig Rennie work, all coming out of that. So think about it that way: 42,000 views per episode. That doesn't mean every episode is seen exactly 42,000 times, but that means a TikTok or a YouTube short, or all of the videos together from that episode equate to 42,000 views per episode. I was surprised, as were my colleagues and my hosts, who when I send them to, they were like, whoa! Yeah, I was like that as well. But that's what we are, guys. And that's why when we phone people up now to say, do you want to come on? They know who we are. And it's because you guys watch and share. That's what it's about.